So last month, I flew to Peru to join the Ayahuasca retreat. If I'm being honest, I went there for a very specific hope. I want the medicine to show me my life purpose. Not in a vague way, not as a nice motivational quote. I think part of me wants a clear message, something that's undeniable, something like, Vincent, this is what you're here to do. Because at that point in my life, I felt a little lost. It has been like that for a while now. Like, on paper, my life is fine. Like, I had a stable career, I had plans, I have a life that looked responsible and reasonably successful from the outside. But internally, there was a question that I kept carrying. What am I actually here to do? What am I actually here to do? And beneath that question, there was another quieter one. If I stop achieving, performing, and try to become impressive, who am I? So before the first ceremony, I wrote down my intention. I want to become my authentic self. I want to fully accept myself. I want to stop seeking validations externally. I want to feel at peace with who I am. That sounds beautiful now. But in the actual retreat, I was not always that wise. I remember in the first ceremony, I was honestly a bit disappointed. Yeah, in the first ceremony, I expected something profound to happen. I thought I might see vision. I receive messages. Maybe I have some kind of cinematic spiritual breakthrough. But instead, I felt tired. My back hurt. I saw some colors and shapes, like for literally a few minutes. Then I mostly just felt sleepy. I remember just thinking, is that it? And now, looking back, that was already the first lesson. I had gone into a ceremony about surrender, but I still tried to control the outcome. I want the experience to perform for me. I want a transformation. But only if it arrived in the form that I already imagined. And then the next ceremony went deeper. At one point, nausea come up. That is pretty common in an ayahuasca retreat. I grabbed the bucket, but nothing came out. I was fasting, exhausted, and just miserable. The singing, I remember the echoes. It started to feel so annoying. I remember thinking how stupid I am to trust my life to this place. And then this just sadness come out of nowhere. I cried and cried. It felt like something black and sticky was being pulled off me. I remember I was putting my hands on my face just like this, as if I'm pulling something and taking off a mask. And then this message came through. I got you. You're safe. Trust me. I'll look after you. Whether that came from the medicine, the music, the shaman, my subconscious, or some part of my mind, I honestly don't know. But my feeling was real. For a moment, I felt completely seen. Like someone knew all my thoughts, all my shame, all my hidden fear, and I did not have to hide anymore. That was beautiful. But ayahuasca did not only show me beauty. There was one night where I felt pure terror. The sound of people vomiting around me becomes like demons howling. I saw fire. I felt like I was being transported into a different dimension. I could not escape from it. My senses started to distort, my vision, my hearing. I had this genuine fear that I would lose myself there forever. I remember I just touched my watch just to confirm that my body is still in reality. I kept pressing it. I kept pressing it to see the time, to prove that I was still there. At one point, I thought, I would not want my worst enemy to live through this hell. This is just pure terror. And when the medicine finally wore off, the relief was overwhelming. I walked out of the Maloka into the jungle night. The stars, they were above me, and the air was quiet, and reality felt simple again. And the thought came to me was, here and now is so good. Here and now is so good. Not because everything in my life was solved, but because I was back. I was alive. I could feel the ground. I could see the sky. I could take a breath. So after experiencing that kind of internal hell, normal reality just felt like a gift. That changed something in how I understood purpose. So before the retreat, I thought purpose might be this grand thing that I have to discover. A mission, a career path, a calling that would finally make everything make sense. But after that night, purpose felt much more basic. Maybe part of purpose is simply learning how to be here, to be present, to not let fear turn the mind into a prison, and to not postpone life until I become richer, more successful, more impressive, more healed, more certain. Because I have done that a lot. I have noticed this impressing reflex in myself. The part of me that wants to sound more successful than I am. The parts that wants to be seen as capable, sharp, and valuable. I have also noticed the approval-seeking part of me. The part that is waiting for replies, likes, validation, attention, and then let my mood depend on it. And I do not say it to shame myself. I say it because the retreat made it harder to lie. A lot of my life has been organized around trying to feel like safe. Money makes me feel safe. Achievement makes me feel safe. Being useful makes me feel safe. Being liked makes me feel safe. But none of those things can answer fully the deeper question. Can I be at peace with myself when I'm not performing? That is the real question. There's one analogy that comes to me during the retreat. I thought life is like going to a restaurant, but only for a limited time. Most of us walk in and ask, what's the most popular dish? Then we order the signature appetizer, the most popular main course, the signature dessert, and maybe that's fine if we actually like those dishes. But what if we do not? What if we only choose them because someone else did? What if the normal life that we're chasing is not actually our taste? A stable job, a certain income, marriage by a certain age, a certain kind of apartment, a certain image of success. Those things are not bad. But if we never ask what we actually like, We might just spend our whole life eating someone else's favorite meal, eating the most popular meal. And because life is limited, we cannot try everything. So the point is not to reject all social norms and become chaotic. The point is to become honest, to ask, do I actually want this? Does this make me feel alive? Or am I choosing this because it is the safest answer? I remember during integration, after the retreat, one exercise asked us to find our calling. The sentence that came out for me was, people creating freely. At first, it sounds almost too simple. But the more I sit with it, the more it makes sense. I felt alive when I helped people find clarity. I felt alive in genuine one-on-one conversation. I felt alive when I'm creating, expressing, connecting, making something honest. I think that's why this YouTube channel matters to me. It is not just content. This, for me, is a practice. Practice being seen, practice articulating what I actually think, practice creating without waiting until I'm perfect. Practice letting people create freely, starting with myself. So the ayahuasca showed me my life purpose, not in the way that I expected. There was no booming voice, no spirit guide hand me a 5-year plan, no perfect sentence written in the sky. Instead, it showed me my pattern. It shows me my fear. It shows me how much I wanted safety. It shows me how quickly my mind can create hell. It shows me that I've been outsourcing permission to work, to money, relationship, approval, even to the psychedelic retreat. Maybe that's the part I need to see. I did not need ayahuasca to give me a new purpose. I needed it to make the existing truth harder to avoid. That I want to live authentically, I want to feel peace, I want to help people create freely. I do not want to spend my life choosing the signature dish just because everybody say it is good. And most importantly, I don't need to wait for a vision to start living. Maybe purpose is not always found. Maybe sometimes purpose is admitted. Maybe it is always visible in the conversation that energizes you, the problem that you cannot stop thinking about, the art that you keep wanting to make more, the people that you naturally want to help, the version of yourself that feels most honest when no one is watching. I went to Peru looking for a revelation, but what I found was more like a mirror. And maybe that is still valuable, because sometimes the most important answer is not the one that surprised you. It is the one that you finally stop running away from. Thank you for watching. See you next time.